On the 8th of May 1945, the Allied powers formally accepted the unconditional surrender of the armed forces of Nazi Germany at the end of the Third Reich. Adolf Hitler had committed suicide on the 30th of April during the Battle of Berlin. The surrender of Germany was therefore authorized by his successor, Grand Admiral Dönitz, and the instrument of surrender was signed at Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force at Reims on 7th of May. This surrender was formally ratified the next day. More than 1 million people converged on the streets of the United Kingdom. In London, people thronged the city streets and monuments. Winston Churchill made a radio broadcast at 3 p.m. announcing that war in Europe was finally at an end. In the suburbs, parties were thrown with furniture and tables brought into the street. Fancy dress parades were held for children, and many people went to church to give thanks to God for victory. Huge crowds, many dressed in red, white, and blue, gathered outside Buckingham Palace in London and cheered as the King, the Queen, and the princesses appeared total of 8 times on the balcony over the day and into the evening, at one point joined by Winston Churchill. In the evening, London landmarks, such as Houses of Parliament, St Paul's Cathedral and Nelson's Column, were floodlit, especially for the occasion. There were fireworks and effigies of Hitler burned on bonfires around the city. On the day, crowds sang a popular song which expressed this joyous return to light. I'm going to get lit up when the lights go up in London. Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret, escorted by the guards officers, left the palace and mingled anonymously with the great crowds outside, joining in the celebrations. During the course of the day, Churchill delivered 2 short speeches from the balcony of the Ministry of Health building to crowds in Whitehall. In the first, he told them, "This is your victory," to which they roared back, "No, it's yours." And during his second appearance at 10:30 p.m, he conducted the crowds in the singing of Land of Hope and Glory. The exuberance of the day was tempered by the fact that for many this would be a time of sadness and reflection, and that because of the ongoing war in Japan, many other parts of the world would not be able to join in the celebrations. It would not be until the Japanese surrendered to the Allies on 15th of August, now known as Victory over Japan Day, that World War II would finally come to an end. Today, on the 75th anniversary of victory in Europe, we look back with pride and respect the remarkable generation of men and women who helped secure peace and freedom.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. How important it must have been for all of those who fought in the world wars to be able to come to a moment in time when they might look for ministering angels. It might have been of their family, their sweethearts back home. Might have been of their comrades who were looking out for them. It might have been every now and then that they hoped and prayed that they were sheltered by a guardian angel. And in any case, were they to survive, that they could sing with the angels, whether they be from heaven, whether they be their friends who had fought alongside them, or whether it be their welcoming family and friends. Peace be to you. Enter in peace. Bless me with peace. Depart in peace. Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, מלך עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. מלכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלך עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. צאצאכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלך עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
It is often a custom for us at NPLS that for creative services we allow others to have a voice in the service, not just to have the rabbis lead the whole service and do all the readings. So it's really a great joy for us that we are joined for this special service by some of our congregants. We chose deliberately some people of the younger generation, the generation that luckily never knew war. And we are joined by those members who can still remember, maybe only a little bit because they were quite young, that very moment of VE Day 75 years ago. And so as you join us here today for this service, I hope you also enjoy hearing the voice of our congregants.
Yesterday morning at 2:41 a.m. at headquarters, General Jodl, the representative of the German High Command, and Grand Admiral Dönitz, the designated head of the German state, signed the Act of Unconditional Surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied Expeditionary Force, and simultaneously to the Soviet High Command. Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, May the 8th. But in the interests of saving lives, the ceasefire began yesterday to be sounded all along the front, and our dear Channel Islands are also to be freed today. The German war is therefore at an end. After years of intense preparations, Germany hurled herself on Poland at the beginning of September 1939, and in pursuance of our guarantee to Poland and in agreement with the French Republic, Great Britain, the British Empire and Commonwealth of Nations declared war upon this foul aggression. After gallant France had been struck down, we from this island and from our united empire maintained the struggle single-handed for a whole year, until we were joined by the military might of Soviet Russia and later by the overwhelming power and resources of the United States of America. We now may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing, but let us not forget for a moment the toil and effort that lie ahead. We must now devote all our strength and resources to the completion of our task, both at home and abroad. Advance, Britannia! Long live the cause of freedom! God save the King.
And let us tonight sing along with the voices of all those who sang out in the streets, in joy and also in sadness, but hoping for there to be a coming of peace, a coming of a Sabbath peace of a bride, some love amongst all people, some unity amongst people, a special strength to face and endure what would still be to come. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litzilah. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki meko haberaha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof mahaseh b'mahashvat tchila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitora ori, ki ba'orech u'mi uri, shehidaberi, kevod Adonai halayich nikla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Ohoi v'shalom ma'atzeret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzochola, toch emune aham segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We began our service with the last post, and I guess in some ways this is a bit like our last post. Baruch Hu mevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Praise be the one to whom our praise is due.
We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever. We discussed this service. We said, oh, let us put a wonderful poem about nature in this place when we normally recall the miracle of creation. And both Rabbi Aaron and I thought, oh, there are lots of war poems about nature. Well, it turns out there are lots of wonderful war poems about nature from the First World War. In the Second World War, we find a lot less of this maybe slightly naive rejoicing of the war, the early enthusiasm of the war. And so even the nature poems of the Second World War are often quite bitter and hit quite hard. And maybe this is who the poet has in mind when he talks about happy were the poets of old, happy were the poets of World War I, who could still sing and rejoice. Maybe a singing and rejoicing that the poets of the Second World War had lost. Tree. Happy were the poets of old, the world like a tree, they like a child. What shall I hang upon the branch of a tree which has suffered a rain of steel? Happy were the poets of old, around a tree they danced like a child. What shall I hang upon the branch of a tree which is burned and never will sing? Happy were the poets of old, beneath the oak they sang like a child. But our tree creaked in the night with the weight of a corpse despised.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavata, Amcha ahavata. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Akin Adonai Eloheinu b'shofteinu, Umenu nasiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובכם נגע יומן ולילה, נגע יומן ולילה. ואחוותך אל תעזור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vahed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vahed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Now the great vision which we dared believe, through slow and savage years, is all our own. That summit which we willed we now achieve, and certainty disposes the unknown. Through Dragon's country midnight black we went, where when one Apollyon had us much in mind, and set whatever deaths he could invent. Above, beneath, about. That lies behind. A widening wonder glitters on our view. That tyranny's overpast. Once more we have come through.
But could our striving wishes bring us back? Those who in youth, those golden hearts and heads, who fell untimely by the cratered track, division would excel what now it sheds of blessing on this world. How shall we then, but by their memory, rule what lies before, and from their genius light such ways that men, through such convulsion, never labor more? Then shall the final victory ever new sing in the lives of all that live, we have come through.
All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, eternal one, our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witness your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule, and then, full of joy, we sang together, Mi chamocha balim Adonai, Mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. V'ne'emar, ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Adonai sefatai tiftach ופיה כי תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח, ופיה כי תהילתך. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth shall declare your praise. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth shall declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. At Gibora Le'olam Shaddai, Machaya Meitim At Rabba Lehoshia, Meshiva Haruach U'Morida Hageshem, Mazriach HaShemesh U'Morida Hatar.
מחלקת חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים. סומכת נופלים ורופאה חולים, ומתירה אסורים, ומקיימת אמונתה לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעלת גבורות, ומי דומה לך? גבורה במיתה ומחיה ומצמיחה ישועה. ונאמנת את לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Now pause for some silence and reflection. Perhaps it is recalling the joy of VE Day. Perhaps also it is now remembering the loss. For us all, let us use this time in silence for our own thoughts, prayers, hopes and longings. ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
May the Most High source of perfect peace grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to all humanity. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam.
After the war, perhaps I'll sit again out on the terrace where I sat with you and see the changeless sky and hills beat blue and live an afternoon of summer through. I shall remember then, and sad at heart, for the lost day of happiness we knew, wish only that some other man were you and spoke my name as once you used to do.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'chabiteinu malkeinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'chabiteinu malkeinu lechaim.
Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, v'yakol yoshvei tevel.
So we turn to our concluding prayers. Baruch Adonai leolam,
Amen v'amen.
Baruch Adonai Elohim Elohei Yisrael, oseh niflaot levado. Ubaruch Shem kavodo leolam, v'yimaleh kavodo et kol haaretz. Amen v'amen.
The eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day, the eternal God shall be one and known to be one. May your love, O God, rest upon us as we rest our hope in you. All the nations that you have made shall come and bow down before you and honour your name.
Let God be praised by day. Let God be praised by night. Let God be praised when we lie down. Let God be praised when we rise up.
Avinu Shebashamayim, our God in heaven, let your unity be acknowledged and your sovereignty established forever. Reign over us now and always. Adonai Melech Adonai Malach Adonai Yimloch Leolam Va'ed. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring,
we remember them.
At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer,
we remember them.
At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn,
we remember them.
At the beginning of the year and when it ends,
we remember them.
As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us.
As we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength,
we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart,
we remember them.
When we have joy we crave to share,
we remember them.
When we have decisions that are difficult to make,
we remember them.
When we have achievements that are based on dares,
we remember them.
As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them.
And as we remember all those who lost their lives in the world wars, and especially in World War II that we remember today, coming to a close, we also remember our own loved ones, members of our community, either those who have died recently or in times gone by. And if any of those watching would like to also post names of those they are thinking of at this moment in time, we may not be able to read them out necessarily, but you will be sharing them, and we as a congregation will share their names with you. David Henning, the husband of Jackie Henning. Dennis Kettle, the father of John. Frances Levine, the mother-in-law of Arlene. Michael Langmore, the husband of Leslie and father of Claire and Jack. Sebastian Schack, grandson of Victor and Anne Schack, son of Robert and Kate and nephew of Elizabeth, cousin of Ben. And Sigmund Scharf, the grandfather of Michael Gordon. And we regret to announce the recent deaths of Derek Wilson, the husband of Shirley, friend of Lawrence and Beverly Garber and others in our community. Edna Blake, the cousin of our member Stephen Weinrabe. And Stephanie Dralish, the sister of our member Jill Terhovanessian, aunt to Greg and Sylvie. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. As we say together, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'galau v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'tada v'talei v'talal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Damiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mruma. Hu yaseh shalom.
Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru. Amen.
May great peace descend from heaven, and abundant life be granted to us, to all Israel, to all peoples, and to all those who mourn. And let us say,
Amen.
As we move to conclude this service, this is one occasion when we actually ask you to rise. We can't see you at home, so there's no shaming, but if you wish to rise, we have a special treat for you in a few moments. Please do join us, members, in the Kiddush Zoom room afterwards so that we can talk, and hopefully maybe you'll carry on posting memories and thoughts from VE Day if you can remember it, or just your emotions and feelings on this day. Tomorrow morning will be somewhat back to normal with a Shabbat morning service, but with, as ever, a few little treats for you as well. We always like to surprise you and keep you on your toes. So a few musical treats tomorrow morning. And then do join us in the week ahead. We've got so many activities to look forward to that you can find on our bulletins. For those who aren't receiving information, then please contact us on admin@npls.org.uk, and we'll be happy to send those out to you. But for now, let us conclude this VE Day service, welcoming in the Sabbath of peace into our lives, by singing together the national anthem, played for us by Archie Sana Howard. And with the hope of the future, we finish with the priestly benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace.
Shabbat shalom to you all.
Shabbat shalom. And just give us a moment while we're getting ourselves ready to go into the Kiddush Zoom room. If you're on Facebook and you can't get into the Zoom room, we will go live again. Just need a moment.